Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Yep. You ready to rock, Chris?
Yeah, let's do this.
Denver?
Yes.
Okay, I love Denver, but that's not one of the questions. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
What's better, pie or cake?
Pie.
Smart man, smart man. If you could have one liquid come out of your index finger, it's like a little gun. It lifts up. You can shoot out any kind of liquid. What liquid would that be?
Water.
Wow. Okay. Gin and tonic might be my favorite answer thus far. How many hours of sleep do you average?
6.
What blood type are you? Do you know?
A positive.
You know, huh? Most people don't know. Are you an organ donor?
Yes.
Those are my creepy questions for you. Here's a creepier one. How many times have you fallen in love?
Oh, I don't know. A handful of times. I've been married for almost 30 years. So,
So one, if she's listening.
yeah. Well, I mean, one that stuck for, almost 3 decades. So we call that the top one. But I think I felt a little love before, and I think she did too. But, certainly you gotta experience a little bit of life before you settle down. So I think that might have occurred.
Okay. For the youngins out there, have you ever seen a UFO or a ghost or anything supernatural?
For sure. Yes.
All right. We'll come back to that at some point. Does God exist?
God is everywhere.
Okay. Do you know the hardest time you've ever laughed?
Oh, I don't know.
Owen's question. We stole it from the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite hardest I've laughed. I served in the military, and almost everything got to be really funny. So the level of practical jokes is like almost emergency room level of fun, if that relates. So yeah,
Sure. Yeah. What do you think couples have fought about over time more? What do you think they fought more about? The temperature of the room or how to do the dishes correctly?
oh, probably the dishes.
It's interesting. Last two, penultimate. Did you watch this program before coming on as a guest?
Did not.
So you don't know this question's coming your way. You thought we were really silly, but this one's going to go deep. What advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
No one really cares. So, whatever you're worried about, no one really cares about that. Just you. So don't care about it. Do your thing. Don't give a shit.
No one really, yeah. I mean, no one's put it that way, but I would say overwhelmingly, that is the answer we get is stop listening to everybody else, do your own thing, something like that. So, don't, I haven't heard it that glib before, but I like it. Chris, you've earned yourself a plug to self-promote. Tell us your little bio and where to find you.
Great. Well, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm doing lots of different things. I'm the CEO of Business Sergeant, which is a veteran-powered recruiting company where we place special operations and regular veterans into management positions, world-class leaders. I have a agentic AI software platform called GoExpand that supports EOS, or the Entrepreneurial Operating System. I've been an Expert EOS Implementer for well over a decade. So those are the 3 things that I spend my time in, and I'm on several boards and do lots of executive coaching. So GoExpand, Business Sergeant, and EOS Worldwide are the 3 plugs where folks can find me.
And GoExpand.com is the main site I have for you. Any social handles you want to give out or any of that?
any of those three brands were represented on all the social medias. And then obviously LinkedIn. Love your listeners to follow me on LinkedIn. I'll be sharing this interview there.
I connected with you already. I'm a LinkedIn whore. So EOS, that I saw that on the bio right before we got on, and I got giddy because I love EOS. I was trying to figure out a way to explain it to anybody who hasn't heard about it. My favorite pitch to kind of tell people is watch the videos. Just the one about how to do a meeting. How no one is taught how to run a meeting, and they are lawless and pointless. And there's the saying that this meeting could have been an email for a reason, right? How do you explain what EOS is to someone who doesn't square one of it? Because we can talk work methodologies, baby, all day.
Yeah, for sure. So think about this, a business operating system like EOS. EOS is the biggest one. There's 911 EOS implementers walking the earth. And
hold on, let me take my pants off. I'm excited. No,
yeah. So like I was in the first 50. So, it's grown quite a bit since I joined. But it's an incredibly simple yet effective holistic operating system to align and synchronize all of the moving parts of your business. Think about your smartphone, which most definitely are making people smarter, but we're going to go with the title. You're an Android or you're an Apple or a Google, that's the OS. The OS is what makes all the apps work well together. So businesses are going to have a finance system, a human resources system, a marketing system, something like that. This is an operating system that sits over the top of everything. Who are we? Why do we exist? What do we do? Who do we do it with? By how much? How much by when? All those things. Accountability chart, structure first, people second, rocks, strategic initiatives, big priorities, projects, scorecards, giving people a number. So when they hit it on Friday afternoon, they know they're a great teammate. If they did half of it, they should work on their resume. Having process, having these meetings that are very structured. So we get together and we have the same time, same place, same time, starts on time, ends on time. And the agenda doesn't change, the discussions inside do. And then we require to-dos to be done, all the promises between this weekly meeting that's immovable. When 90% of those promises to each other come true, that's where the traction comes from. So think about EOS as CrossFit for business. If you work these 6 muscles, you're going to look like an action figure. Vision component, getting everybody on the same page. Here's the vision. Opt 100% into it or opt 100% out of it. But we cannot accommodate 47 different versions of this and expect to get it to anyone quickly. Second key component is the people component. Right people, right seats. Right people share your core values. They're great to be around. They value what you value. Right seats, EOS acronym, GWC. They get it, want it, have the capacity. If all the company are the right people in the right seats, you're making money and everybody's having fun. But oftentimes we have right people in wrong seats or wrong people in right seats or wrong people in the wrong seats. Oxygen thieves. Third key component, data component.
Energy vampires.
Yeah, energy vampires for sure.
Colin Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah, Colin Robinson, exactly. Energy vampires. They hit the break room and everyone else scatters because who needs another, erroneous HR complaint for a totally funny and perfectly appropriate joke. Professional Karens at the office who are talking about wrong people. And if they're good at their job, they're the wrong person in the right seat, also known as brilliant jerks. But you can't build a great team around jerks. So you got to trade them to the other team and find somebody that has a similar level of performance without the personality defects. Third key component, the data component, just boiling down the organization to a handful of numbers, weekly activities that bring monthly business results. Fourth key component, issues component. It's just an issue. Issues aren't just problems, they're opportunities, they're things that need discussion. And EOS has a heavy amount of compartmentalization. Oh, yeah, that's an issue, but I'm not worrying about it because it's a long-term issue. This is the current quarter, and this is what I care about. And we'll solve the issue using an issue-solving track called Identify, Discuss, and Solve. Most teams are good at the D part, but they don't identify the truth. So they're just romancing some solution that's not going to fix it. This is where we go to the root causation, fix that, and then everything behind it comes to heal nicely. Fifth key component, process component, the 20% that brings the 80%. Checklist, outlines, go fast things to create a consistent, scalable experience. And then finally, the traction component. That's bringing the vision down to the ground and making everything, simple, opt in, opt out, but creating this 90-day world where every 90 days we pick our heads up and recommit to the mission. And we create these rocks, which are these 90-day things that help us work on the business, not in the business. So to the degree that you're like really good at those 6 things, the 136 problems in business melt away because those are the roots. If you solve the roots, all the other problems just disappear. And it's about a 2-year process to implement it in your company.
Yeah.
And it's awesome when you're done. I have an 85% success rate. The only 15% don't make it to the end. Usually a founder who's a narcissistic douchewaddle or something like that, or we can't speak the truth, or 85% of companies, get everything they want from it.
They're probably too romantic. It's an ego thing. It's you can't put these handcuffs on me. And it's like, well, you hired me to do this for you. Change management requires you to change too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I as corny as it sounds, the discipline's the ultimate freedom. If you're trying to really sell, like, hey, I have an efficient way for us to kind of run any communication or meetings or project management for us as a small business, everybody listening, as a business owner, the sell is we need to be more efficient. If we're having a lot of dick around meetings that are useless, that's a big indicator. No one likes that. And that you on your bottom line should want to be efficient for that reason, right? As the business owner, founder, C-suite. On the employee side, if you brought this to the table to like your COO, or whoever's doing operations, and you go, hey, I think this might be great to implement, that's executive material right there, I think, if you're not one. And it's one of those things where, yeah, it's tough to do. Change management's like the toughest thing because behavior change, as anybody who tries to do a New Year's resolution, 90% fail before the end of the month in January. So it's like most people can't get routines down unless you have someone like yourself, a sergeant, barking at them and being like, why aren't you doing this? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, if they have to make the commitment they want to be great, because you can't hold someone accountable if they're not committed to the result. It's like nailing Jello to a tree. You can try it, it just ain't gonna work.
I had a young comic ask me if we could talk at lunch this week, and I go, that's fine. I'll tell you how I failed and how you can avoid all the failures I did. And I basically, I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't know if I told you that or that, but what's it called? I told him, look, man, you're pretty young. Have you ever had a friend who's an alcoholic, like go through it and they're trying to get sober? They want to get sober, they say. And he's like, I'm not there yet. He was like 23. It's like, okay, you're going to have a lot of comedian friends, at the very least, if not your own personal circles have this. And I go, that person can't get sober unless they want to do it. And you can't force them to do it. You can't make them do it. They have to buy into wanting to do it, or else it won't take. The best thing you do is say something shitty sarcastically to them, but something that's cutting, that'll get the point across, and you might push them away, or you might say, hey, this is for real. That's what's going on, because that's how dudes talk without getting emotional. You have to make fun of the other person. But and I thought about it broadly, like you were just talking about. If you're not down to do your, look at those like workout programs, the 45s or the 90 days, whatever things. It's just a way for you to get on this thing and get going. It's not a slog, but I digress. I worked I have my own marketing agency, but during the day, but that's the day career. But one of the last gigs I had as a head of agency in-house, right after the pandemic kind of lockdown, they wanted new EOS. And I go, wow, that's awesome. This is great. And the first 2 weeks I got there, I helped them get their project management It's not even something I'm supposed to do. They're just like, hey, we're waiting for another executive to come in. He's coming in 2 weeks later. Can you help the traffic team get their project management used? Reich, right? And I was like, the app? Yeah. In 2017, that was 4 years ago. And so I'm proud of myself to get them on track, going from like 300 overdue tasks to 0 in like a month. Not my focus. I'm in the marketing area, but I feel like it's pretty intuitive if you really think about it. And so all I did was bring people in and go, how long does this take you to do? Okay, cool. And are there any dependencies? All right. I haven't met you yet, but we'll talk later. And that was my first 2 weeks in there. It was just going, how many minutes does this take? What's the duration on this? Okay. I'm going to make a blueprint for that. And look, I was a C+ high school student. I got into Auburn because it was one page. I talked myself into business school. So I was on the cusp, and I went into the office and was able to talk my way in to the MBA program. But it's one of those things where I feel like it's kind of no duh or no shit. Is that fair to say? Do you have any of that? You have a military background, so I'm guessing this gets your juices going into like, yeah, regimen, routine. All right, I love it.
Well, I think just getting people fired up and excited to be there, like it takes just as much time, to come to the office and be sad than it does to be happy and successful. It really doesn't take any more time to be awesome than it does to be pathetic. So if you're going to leave your family and go off and do something, you might as well use that time efficiently with like-minded people. I mean, the world is pretty much crazy today. Up is down, left is right. So if a company can create like a normal environment for 8 to 10 hours a day and give people, a firm footing to stand on, that's good for humans. And when you're going to the office and playing pretend all day, it's exhausting.
The worst is when you're working at a company that has, let's call it more than 20 people or something, right? It's a small business, but you're working and no one really knows what's going on. Like there's a communication part to that, intra communication, but there's also like project management board. You could just have, here's the big things we're doing, and here's the routine things we're doing. You could just have that on a TV at all times, a Gantt chart. I love me a sexy ass Gantt chart.
Yeah, who doesn't? So every 90 days, we have this thing called the State of the Company meeting, where the leadership team addresses the entire company and where we were, where we're at today, what we learned, where we're going in the next 90 days. Let's go have some fun and appreciate each other. And then within days of that, we have a one-on-one, a quarterly conversation. Are you good? What's working? What's not working with you? So imagine working at a company where the leadership team tells you everything. You share this 2-page document, the Vision Traction Organizer, answers 8 questions. Who are we? Core values. What's our core focus to include our purpose, cause, or passion, and our niche? Who are we? Why we exist? What do we do? Those 3 things equal the soul of an organization. It's amazing how many employees cannot answer who we are, why we exist, and what we do. So they're a bit soulless, a little clueless. Then we move on to a big, hairy, audacious goal, 10-year, 5 to 35-year target, North Star to point towards. Then we have a marketing strategy. Then we have a 3-year picture. What does it look like in 3 years? Top line, bottom line, dream state, goals. Once that's locked in, then we create a 1-year plan. Once we have a 1-year plan, then we create those quarterly rocks. And then we have long-term issues. So like everyone at the company can know exactly who you are, why you exist, and what you do with those 2 pages. And then you share what was right about that, what was wrong about that, and what you're doing to fix it every 90 days. That way, everybody knows exactly what we're doing. So it's kind of funny that like, oh, my people aren't executing. Well, have you shared with them explicitly what your expectations are? Well, no, we were just kind of hoping they all figured it out independently, and it worked out the same way for us. So when I say it that way, it's kind of obvious that you should have an operating system, but the vast majority of companies in America do not. So there's still
everyone thinks they're agile. And agile means I could get away with being sloppy.
Yeah, my sprint is 2 weeks long, and I will have a new excuse, and I have 2 weeks to think of the new excuse, and I'm blocked or all that. So I work with a lot of technology companies, and using the agile methodology is a great methodology to make software, but it's not a methodology to run your business. Well, I mean, I guess it is. It's just I don't think it's as effective as like a business operating system, which is designed to actually run the business and make it clear so people can opt in or they can opt out versus creating this own freestyle cruise experience at the office. So the point is, companies are buses, but people want to hijack your bus and use it like an Uber, and you can't allow people to do that. So buses have a placard on top. If you want to go where the bus is going, you get on the bus and it'll take you there, but you can't get on a bus and, take me to grandma's house on the other side of town. That's not how buses work, but many people allow people to get the wrong people in the wrong seats on the bus and then hijack it off the route. This is just quite simply saying, this is what it is. Opt all the way in. We put a lot of thought into this and we're pretty psyched about it. If you're not, we're going to miss you, versus making all those little micro accommodations. When you add them all up, you're no longer pointed there, you're pointed there, and that's where you're going to land.
I think the metaphor is Waymo. Most people are in a Waymo going in a circle because they got the system broke, man. They got nothing. Or it's that weird case where there's a homeless guy in one of the Waymos in Austin. I don't know if you've heard about that story, but I guess the trunk was open. He just popped in there and got a good night's sleep. And then someone else got a Waymo. He's like, yeah, look, I read the book Traction. I just want some credit for that. Cause that's not my, I don't think anybody thinks I would sit down and read that book, but I got into this just because I was tired of like my initiative is always, or my incentive. I learned, we took this Asher Strategies, advanced personnel questionnaire. It's like 80 questions. And we've taken all the kind of placement tests or business tests, personality tests on this show because we find them interesting. How valid are they? Myers-Briggs is dog shit, but how about like, the predictive index or the culture index? Those are pretty good. Asher Strategies was the best, and it gives you a score. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It's just your proclivity, right? So it's like conservative CEOs. That's your Fortune 100 psycho. That's the guy who can be a corporate raider or come in and do hostile takeover. No emotion, just all ego, just get shit done, slashers or whatever. That score is like a 69 out of 100. My dynamic one for growing businesses was like a 92 or something. This is the highest one I had. The interesting thing I had with that was the 3 low scores I had, admin and clerical, those were below 10. No doubt about that. I knew that about myself, but project management was like a 17. And I was like, oh, that's bad. I got to learn to love this because I can't run a business and scale it. I'll just be that flustered kind of agency owner forever. And I have many of my peers that are in that kind of, they're always busy. Winning is a stinky cologne, as Michael Wilbon says on PTI. Like they're doing well, but they're exhausting more calories than they need to. And so that was when I started learning Reich. Reich had a great blog, and it taught me all the work methodologies from square one. So I just taught myself all this stuff. And if I can do it, anybody listening, they could really get a base understanding to it. Because if it ain't comedy or football, it's really hard for me to sit down and lock in a lot of the time. But the incentive was there. I'm never going to scale. I'm going to be like constantly flustered and like manic because I'm so overworking myself and worried about these floating things in the air. I write things down religiously and I try to get everything in Asana. I'm an Asana guy now. But it's one of those things. What that does is take that out of the RAM space in my brain. Just to kind of speak to anybody out there, it's not really a question for you, but I want to circle back. UFO. Tell me about this UFO.
Yeah, pretty weird.
More of this guy. He's all in conspiracy and also any extraterrestrial stuff to the point where I have to lock in when he's telling me about this, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, man. I can't do anything about it. So it's tough for me to give a shit.
Well, first, let me say conspiracy theorist, a pejorative a few years ago, and now known as a critical thinker, because those guys are batting about 800 on conspiracies to like facts.
Yeah and no. Like they're kind of like gamblers. If you ever have a friend that gambles a lot, they'll tell you about the wins. And then you have to ask a few questions on what were they wrong on? No one touts what they're wrong about. I feel like it's a bias to go like, I got that one right.
Yeah, I guess I'm just talking about the big ones, the greatest hits. Free speech. Elon buys Twitter. Oh, wow, look at this. We're throttling conservatives and amplifying liberals. We're people on watch lists. We're not doing this. Yeah, we're definitely doing this. Yeah, illegals can't vote in elections. Yeah, here's a lot of data where they're getting that done. California, we just had the
frogs out there.
Yeah, I mean,
that's right about that. I was so right about that one.
Yeah. So, is there extraterrestrial life? No. And then all of a sudden, they're declassifying all this stuff in the last few years, saying that we've got craft, we've got mechanics, we now have weapons of war that are derived from some of these quantum things. So to think we're the only people looking at all these stars is a little smooth brain. So my UFO experience, it's a weird one, but it's 10:30, 11 in the morning. We're walking in our bridle trails in our neighborhood, and I live up on the hill, look at the whole city and mountain range of Denver. It's like a scenic overlook. And all of a sudden, I see this shiny stuff in the air, and there's like 4 this way and 5 this way, almost like drones in a pattern, a perfect pattern. And it would shift, it would go up, and like, what the hell is that? By the time we got our cameras out and tried to record, we got a little bit of the images, and they all moved together, and it was over the airport. And I thought, this is really weird. And they were very shiny, sparkling in the sun. And it was the weirdest thing, and can't really explain what it was, but Buckley Air Force Base, where all the big golf balls and NSA stuff is there. We've got Fort Carson, we've got the Air Force Base, so it could have been a military thing or whatever, but it was, what the heck is that? And we looked at it for a while, and then we got a little bit of video, but I didn't share the video because it wasn't conclusive, and didn't want to wind up on the Men in Black's visit list. So that's my story.
Or Discord calling you a phony.
Yeah, exactly. So like that is just something I would share. Can't explain it. Interesting. Didn't get all crazy about it, because there are so many things happening that we think we know, but we don't really know. But anyways, that's I believe what I see. And being a critical thinker means that you just don't believe what everyone believes at face value, because it's pretty clear there's a lot of manipulation in the world, and you got to think for yourself. And if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a freaking duck. And people got to think for themselves.
My family's called me contrarian my whole life, and I go, why can't I? Now I'm going to just correct them and say critical thinker. And I'm always like, I'm not always arguing because I think it's the opposite opinion is correct. I just want to see the other argument. And I was like, we grew up all around attorneys here. Like every third friend of mine I grew up with is an attorney. My dad and uncle are attorneys. Like, don't you think some of that kind of may have gotten down to me a bit? But I'm going to correct them and say critical thinker. Is there any, before we get out of here, we keep it tight on this show, but is there anything that we didn't get to you wanted to talk about while I got you here for a couple more minutes?
I don't know if I have any agenda, any axes to grind here. It's just a pleasure.
Tell someone to fuck off if you want.
Yeah. I mean, everyone can fuck off. Like, it doesn't matter. Again, no one cares. And you got to play your own game and be a good human. But at the end of the day, the older I get, the less I am concerned about things you can't control. And here's a good one, control is an illusion. And when you let go and stop trying to control everything, and you just kind of put yourself with the right people and the right streams, like, great things happen. The more you want something to happen, the less it's likely to happen. Being confident that it's going to happen and saying, I don't give a shit when it's happened, it's just going to happen, and I don't care when. Letting go is when all the good things happen. That's been my experience. So you got to believe in where you're going, but you can't white knuckle hang on because then it works against you. So like you can't Yeah, you can't fly. Yeah, you can't fly with eagles if you hang out with turkeys. So the bonus one there is, you are the 5 people you spend the most time with. So look at where you're spending your time. That is where you're going.
And vet those 5 people, vet who they hang out with. The other 4 they have, if you look at it like a mind map or a spaghetti chart or whatever, because there's an indirect effect of the other people they hang out with the most. Could be 4 or 5. You could be in that group or not, but it's one of those things where I remember reading that study and they go, actually, the other people they hang out with have a way bigger impact on you than you realize. So don't hang out with a bunch of jabronis.
Exactly. That is good life advice. And
Don't be the smartest person in the room. I always surround myself by much smarter and funnier friends than I was. And I felt like that helped a lot because I'd be like, what are they talking about? And go look it up.
yeah, that's great life advice. Exactly. Don't be the smartest person in the room. If not, then obviously there's a lot of room for improvement if it's you.
You better be a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah. Well, what do they say in poker, right? If you sit down at the poker table and after 10 minutes you can't spot the sucker, it's you.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same thing with being the smartest person in the room. If you instantly are the smartest person, then make sure to find another room to go to, or you can continue to grow.
Well, you gave a crisp moneymaker performance on this show. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll have to get you back on again. When anything you have to plug, let us know. Just hit me up.
That's awesome. Just have your people follow me on LinkedIn. I'll be sharing this interview there, and that's where people can go and see what I'm up to.
I'll send you the clips if you want them.
Fantastic.
All right, buddy. See ya.
See ya.